Going on, guys? Fat MMA Critic back again. A lot sooner than what I wish I was going to be back for this video, but as you guys can gather, this is going to be talking about the cancellation of UFC 151, with some fights being cancelled and this, that, and the other. I'm just going to spearhead it and go straight to what the real deal of the meat and bones of the situation really is, and that is Dan Henderson got injured. He's got an MCL tear, on his one of his knees, and it's just too bad to fight. Really, he doesn't need surgery, but it's bad enough not to fight. You know, an MCL tear sounds quite serious. I'm not a physician, but that's just me. I think it's what happened there. I think it sounds pretty serious to me. This is when yesterday the saga starts. They offered Chael Sonnen offered to step in on 8 days' notice and fight Jon Jones for the light heavyweight title with his first. This would be his first ever fight at light heavyweight. Jon Jones declined and said no, he doesn't want to fight him. It'd be stupid for him to fight someone that he'd only have 8 days to prepare for and all this other shit. But he's prepared for in 4 weeks' time to fight Leonard Machida, not Machida. But unfortunately, that fight is not going to happen because Machida, in this bizarre fucking spiral of what is going on at the moment in the world of the UFC/MMA, Machida has declined the fight. I still don't know why he's declined the fight, but I'm assuming he doesn't want to get the shit kicked out of him again by Jon Jones so quickly, because then that would really make him irrelevant in the light heavyweight division, and I think he would then have no option but then to move down to 185, and that's the reality of it. Numerous amounts of fighters have come out and said that they said to Dana White that they would step in. Number one, Chris Weidman even said he'd come and fight him. They were trying to put together him versus Anderson Silva, Jones versus Anderson Silva, but apparently Anderson was on a plane and that couldn't happen because they needed to get it done basically then and there. Otherwise, they were going to the press for saying of the cancellation of the event. They had to do it as quick as possible, obviously for promotional shit and all that. It's now come out that Jon Jones will be fighting on September 22nd, which they're still calling it UFC 152, which really it should be 151. But it's looking to me that 151 is going to be a mysterious lost event. I'm thinking that's what it's going to be. But Jon Jones is now going to fight on the 22nd of September Vitor Belfort. Yes, the former UFC light heavyweight champion / the dude who's been fighting at 185 for the past 6 years. Bizarre. I mean, I give major props to Vitor Belfort coming up, because realistically he was never the biggest 205 pounder or heavyweight when he was fighting at heavyweight. He's most likely going to lose. I really hope he doesn't. That would be amazing to see Vitor Belfort coming out of nothing, become the UFC light heavyweight champion with his first fight at light heavyweight for 6 or 7 years, beating the pound for pound probably best in the world at the moment in Jon Jones / #1 light heavyweight in the world right now. Be amazing. I don't think that's going to happen, but it would be fucking amazing to see if it did. What I have a problem with is you're willing to fight Vitor Belfort with not even a month's notice, with about 3.5 weeks / 4 weeks, so say a month's notice, who is a solid 185 pounder, who doesn't, in my opinion, have the name recognition at the moment as Chael Sonnen, but you're okay to fight him but you won't fight Chael Sonnen. Dana White has come out and he's done his Dana White, which I don't blame him. He must be seething. They've had to cancel the whole lot. Even my man Joe Rogan's had to cancel his comedy show that he had there because the Mandalay Bay actually cancelled it because it was like entwined with the event. So, you know, basically the cancellation of this has helmed from Jon Jones. If Jon Jones accepted the fight. What I have a problem with is Jon Jones' selfishness. Fair enough, you're fighting a guy that you wouldn't want to fight, but hey, sometimes you have to do what you have to do to fight and be. That's what it is being a fighter, being a UFC fighter. People like Randy Couture, Chuck Liddell, Anderson Silva, all these guys, I bet they wouldn't give a fuck who they were fighting. As long as that's it, they got to fight. That's it. They have to fight. Yeah. And he's contradicted himself because he's given it all the, well, I wouldn't have time to prepare and blah blah. Well, hold on, do you forget how you got that title? You got that title by winning a fight on, I think, 3.5 weeks' notice because Rashad Evans got injured and you went in and beat Shogun in the 3rd round. So what the fuck are you talking about? You know, it's extremely selfish. He's fucked over the promoter, number one. He's fucked over the fighters, and especially a lot of the smaller undercard fighters who are only getting paid like 4, 5, 6, 7 grand. You know, not even that, they're going to lose out on their sponsorship money because a lot of them are fighting on FX, which they would obviously get a lot more money because they're fighting on a proper channel over there in the States. You know, it's ridiculous. You know, he's fucked over a lot of fighters now. And mainly fucked over the UFC. They've had to cancel. This is the first time in 11 years since Zuffa have had the company that this has ever happened. Something like this has ever happened. I heard a few people jumping on the bandwagon saying that, oh, but Shogun done the same thing and this, that and the other. Listen, what you don't understand is Shogun done it for one reason and one reason only, and that is because they wanted to give him Glover Teixeira, who is a no-name. He had one fight in the UFC. That doesn't grant him, and he beat a guy like Kyle Kingsbury. That doesn't give him the shot at the former light heavyweight champion, who his last loss was to Dan Henderson in a 5-round war, epic fight of 2011. No. That doesn't sit well with me. So don't go on that bandwagon and make out that Shogun's exactly the same as Jon Jones. 2 different cases, 2 separately different cases. He was given Chael Sonnen, who's arguably, well, not arguably, he's the most charismatic fighter in MMA, and arguably one of the biggest box office draws. Everyone wants to know what he's talking about. Everyone wants to see his interviews and stuff like that. That 8 days would have been crazy amounts of media, and Chael Sonnen would have been up for it. In short, I do blame Jon Jones personally. I'm not a hater. I'm not hating on Jon Jones, but it is what it is. You know, let's call a spade a spade. You know, he fucked up. He should have taken the Chael Sonnen fight. He should have taken it on the chin like a man. Yeah, and if he lost, he lost. Okay, you've lost. I'm sure they would have done an immediate rematch. For sure. Yeah. It's a sad state of affairs. I mean, it's just bizarre to think that Vitor Belfort's gonna fight Jon Jones in a month's time for the UFC light heavyweight title. It's just bizarre. I can't wait to find out why Machida really didn't accept the fight. It's just strange. I mean, I'm going to go and tell you guys what's happening here. A couple of the fights have been moved to the UFC on FX. Brownie versus Bigfoot. Shane Roller, Jacob Volkman's been moved over to there. Michael Johnson versus Danny Castillo. And the co-main event to this event, Jake Ellenberger versus Jay Hiron, has been moved over to that card. I believe they actually are calling it UFC 152. So Jon Jones versus Vitor Belfort is now the official main event to that card, and Carl Noak versus Charlie Brenneman has now been moved to that card. The only positive I can take from this is that UFC 152 looks like a pretty stacked card now. You've got 2 championship bouts with Joseph Benavidez versus Demetrius Johnson for the inaugural UFC flyweight championship. Obviously, John Jones versus Vitor Belfort. Crazy even saying it. Then you've got Bisping versus Brian Stann. TJ Grant versus Evan Dunham. Matt Hamill coming back from retirement versus Vladimir Mishchenko. You got Cub Swanson versus Charles Oliveira. Damn, that's a good fight. Then you got Igor Popajak versus Vinny Magalhaes. Jimmy Hettis versus Marcus Brimage. Seth Brzezinski versus some dude from Norway. Mitch Gaon versus Wale Watson. And like I said, Charlie Brennan and Carl Noak. I'll do a prediction for this, obviously, when it comes time to it. So it's a shame because it's fucked up my prediction video I put out only a few days ago for 151. But yeah, it's a shame. Like I said, the main reason I'm pissed off is it seems to me John Jones bitched out. You really, you are hands down at the moment the best pound for pound fighter. You're in there. You could argue that Anderson Silva's up there is number 1, but I would personally give it to John Jones, and he's obviously the number 1 light heavyweight in the world. He's demolished about 6 or 7 guys that are in the top 10 at light heavyweight, and you were afraid to fight an out of shape, by the way, Chael Sonnen. Everyone's going. A lot of people on a lot of the message boards were saying, but he does have some reasoning, blah blah blah. What are you talking about? What Chael Sonnen said, he had his opportunity to beat me and shut my mouth, and it's fucking true. Chael Sonnen would have had 8 days to do all that PR while cutting weight, because he's probably now bulked up to a good 220, or 225, maybe even 230. So he's got to lose a nice chunk of weight. He's got to lose at least 20 pounds. I would say Chael Sonnen. So within that week, he's got to lose 20 pounds, do all the media, because now he's going to have to do so much fucking media to hype this fight up, with 8 days to go. And it's a new opponent and all this and all that, which Chael would love to do, and Chael's fantastic at doing that. And, John Jones, if we're going to be honest, that fight is probably a better fight for him than if he had to fight Hendo. Hendo, he's got to worry about, he is good wrestling, but I wouldn't say he's as good as Chael Sonnen. And his hands, Chael Sonnen ain't knocking no one out, and that's that. So all John Jones would have had to worry about is the wrestling. John Jones has got a better ground game. The only asset that I see Chael Sonnen has better than John Jones is the wrestling, and that's it. So for me, I thought it was a better fight for him, but I like to keep it straight. I like to talk straight, and in my opinion, he pussied out. And that's it. Anyway, I've ranted and raved enough about this. I'm going to stick this up now. Until the 22nd of September, people. Unfortunately, there's no UFCs because we've been fucked over by John Jones for this one. But until then, guys, enjoy the fights. Bye-bye.